Welcome to the Homeschool Together podcast. Where one working mom and a stay-at-home dad help you navigate the nuts and bolts of the growing and dynamic world of homeschooling.
With a focus on early learners, like me.
All the ins and outs of building and maintaining your homeschool life.
Homeschool.
Find out tips and tricks to make things like this easier.
I'm reading.
And ultimately, enjoy educating your kids. And what's that last thing?
Have fun together. Did I do good, Daddy?
Yeah, you did, sweetie. Good job. Hello and welcome to Homeschool Together. Thanks for joining us today. We're going to be talking about why we all have Amazon Prime at this time of year. It's our first annual.
We hope it's annual.
Annual Homeschool Gift Guide.
Yeah, because, hey, you have to give gifts.
Also known as the Bezos Slush Fund.
we do give gifts, and the thought we had was we wanted to share with you some recommendations on some really cool gifts that are not only fun, but educational and can be an asset to your homeschool.
Yeah, they're not just games, which everybody knows we're.
I mean, there are a few games on this list. Don't get us wrong. Our colors show through, but
yeah, but there are some manipulatives and cool little learning things that you can.
And toys and
great
things.
Little stocking stuffers, things you can add to the shelves. Things you can consider. Maybe you have an area that opportunity that you want to expand on. Maybe in the coming year, in the first couple months of the new year, which we all hope will be better. Thank you, thank you, Pfizer and Moderna. But we will hopefully have, a nice little list of things for you to incorporate.
Just some things, I'm always looking, we're looking for our own daughter for Christmas. And there was a number of things that I came across, and I kept seeing, after I had already bought the toys and things I intended to buy for her, I kept seeing more and more things. I kept telling you, gosh, these look great. Like, I want to share these with our listeners because it's so hard. There's a pull to just buy toys, and not that toys and play, I mean, obviously are great and imaginative, and they learn in their own way. But I also wanted to, hey, if I can leverage some of this and use it to help with homeschooling, then that's even better, right? So we wanted to provide that list for everyone.
But before we begin, head down in the show notes, connect with us on social media, sign up for our awesome resource guide that we've put together for you guys. And if you could, head on over to iTunes and leave us a review. So today's show, we're going to be talking about a number of items, but we're going to break them into groupings. And I think we'll have a link to our website and our hot new blog, which will have everything listed. So keep it up there.
So they'll have pictures of everything and links to it all. So
it'll be broken up by language arts, math, STEM, geography, art, practical skills, games, stocking stuffers. And so we have a nice little list for everybody. Maybe something is interesting to you. Why don't you take a look? So we'll start with language arts, because reading and writing and learning our letters is, for us early learners, is the most important thing.
Right. It's totally on our radar.
So let's start with the first thing called Tall Tales.
Yeah. So I've got two things to recommend. They kind of both go in the same category, and this is story making.
Yes.
So
which we like. This is something that we've talked about in the past.
Right. We talked about the Ebu creative story cards that we have. We love this idea. I think one of the great things about making a story, it spurs your child's creativity. It can also be terrific for writing prompts.
Yep. It's
great for listening comprehension. You make up a story and they listen, and then they repeat back what they heard. So lots of good stuff. So Tall Tales, there's kind of we have two flavors
two of them,
here.
Tall Tales and Rory's Story Cubes.
Right. So both of these kind of rely on a similar concept, which is that you put out a series of items. In Rory's Stories Cubes, you roll dice and they have different pictures on them, and then you arrange those dice to tell a story. It's terrific. It's low cost. It's very small. It could fit in
portable
your purse.
Too. Yeah, portable.
Yeah, it'd be perfect. I hear a lot of parents, families play this while they're like at a restaurant waiting for dinner. When we can do that again. This is a great thing to do. So this is kind of a bare bones. I think there's like maybe 8 or 10 dice, so not a lot, and they have little pictures, and you use those to help spur the telling of a story. Sometimes it can be for quite a silly story. Tall Tales is like that on steroids. So instead of just having little dice, you have tons of little
characters and manipulatives.
characters and objects and things, and you draw those out of a bag, and then you also have cards into the mix, and you can make some wild and awesome stories. So if making up stories,
And this isn't necessarily a game. This is just something to spur conversation and spur creativity.
yeah, I mean, this is one of those things. Some games have a point mechanisms that really, it's like illustrations, right? There's a point mechanism. Who
But
even
nobody
cares?
really cares,
That's not the fun part of it. The fun part's not winning. The fun part is doing. And these games kind of fall into that category, I think. So I don't know if Telltale's has a scoring mechanism, but I don't think that that's really the goal of it. But it has lots of just cute, tiny little objects that you can draw out of the bag and see how
like
you
dragon, there's a snake, there's like a chest,
there's
like,
a top hat. How do you
yeah.
how do you string it all together, right? Is I think really terrific. So if you're a family that likes to tell stories, maybe you already have Rory story cubes, take it to the next level and get Tall Tales. If you don't have that, maybe you want to start small. So we wanted to give you a couple of options in this storytelling and comprehension type category.
So the next two is right in line with the language arts. Is more of a manipulatives thing. One's a game and one's really just like classic manipulatives. First one is My First Bananagrams, which we've reviewed in one of our short bites.
Right, we talked about bananagrams, and right here we wanted to put on My First Bananagrams, which is a little bit different, right? Because where bananagrams is single letter tiles like Scrabble, My First Bananagrams has some common pairing. So like OO, it could be together, or EA could be together. Things like that help really early spellers to be able to make better words with that. Still a super fun game, but it brings it down to a more accessible level. We wanted to highlight My First Bananagrams.
Yeah, maybe for that first, second grader that's,
Yeah, it'd be perfect for that. Again, comes in a cute little banana bag, inexpensive, and just a really great early language arts game that's could also be used as manipulative in your homeschool, so double bonus.
Absolutely. And the second one is the Classroom Magnetic Letters Kit, and this is something we have for our daughter and that we've been using. If you can imagine, it was like a giant pillbox, where it's got all these little tray.
I think of like a fishing, like a
tackle box,
or something like that.
Yeah,
but
like
it's
a tackle
just a
box.
single layer plastic.
And they got all these little holes and everything, and in each one of the holes is multiple letters. That's one of the things that we always run into when we're trying to do letter stuff. Like when we're doing the All About Reading stuff, we only have one tile for W and T and S. And sometimes I want to spell multiple words, or I want her to read a couple words, or I'm asking her to spell a couple words, and there's just not enough of the manipulatives. And so this is something we picked up to have more. And what's great about them is they're magnetic on the back, so they're great for your grease board. We have like 4 or 5 of these portable little.
Well, it comes with one magnetic whiteboard with a whiteboard marker and a little eraser, and then of course it's the magnet. The magnet sets, I think there are 3 sets of lowercase and 2 of uppercase, I want to say.
Yep.
And each of these, the reason we bought this one specifically is each of the little bins is marked with the letter.
Yes.
So
my gosh.
it's not just like a free for all dig for the right letter.
It's just it's just that little bit extra that makes your life a little bit easier,
Right.
because I don't want to have to go dig for letters. So those were 2 really cool, language arts style, language arts style
Our daughter
games.
loves that magnet board.
So moving on from language arts, we're going to go into math. Obviously, number 2 on the level of Common Core. We're just going right with Common Core today. The first one is Zeus on the Loose, which, not to be confused with Moose in Your Hoose, which is another great game.
It's Moose in Your House, actually. We've always just said Moose in Your Hoose.
Yes.
But that's a game. That's a game,
to our
right?
Canadian listeners,
Which is fun and does not involve any math.
No.
But is another fun one from Game Right. They only sell it on the Game Right store if you're looking for Moose in the House. But it's just a fun, silly card game that our kid likes.
But back to it. Zeus is upset we're talking about the moose.
Yeah, so Zeus on the Loose is a terrific game. It's from Game Right, so you know that it's going to be high quality and have very cute artwork.
And a fun playability aspect.
Yeah, so it's a fun little card game where you're trying to get to multiples of 10, and there's some cool other powers, but that's the real math aspect of it. Adding up everything, and okay, when am I at 10? Okay, then I can grab Zeus, and I have these special powers and things. So super popular math game that a lot
early
of
multiplication, early. If you're starting to get into the like where we're doing is right start math, we're doing a lot of 110, 210, 310 type of stuff. So it's a nice reinforcement if you're starting to get out of the out of the teens and into the
Right. It's great for
Yeah.
addition. So, really fun little card game. Very affordable to pick up. So good recommendation.
Next one we have is Moby, not the singer and the music creator, but MOBI. And again, not the file format for Amazon Kindle books, but MOBI, Moby. So what is Moby?
Right. It's as Bananagrams comes in a cute little thing. This one is a cute little whale pouch.
Oh, yes.
And
whale
in
pouch,
it,
yes.
instead of Bananagrams tiles with letters on it, there are numbers and equal signs and double-sided tiles that have either a plus or a minus.
But it's Bananagrams for
It's Bananagrams math.
math. Oh.
Right, I know. Matt's drooling over it. He wants
Ariel
it's on
showed it-
his Christmas list.
Ariel showed it to me, and I'm like, it better be on my stocking stuffer list
I
because
know.
I could do that thing all day long.
I know. He was so excited about it. He's like, I hope this is under the tree for me this year. So it's great. So you're basically making a crossword puzzle out of these
Math equations.
Of math equations with add and subtract.
And
It's
you're
amazing.
borrowing the numbers to build new equations. So so you could do something like 2 + 2 equals to 4, and then maybe 4 + 4 is equal to 8. And that'd be a great way to build off of the 4. And then maybe off the 2, you'll be like 2 - 1 is 1, and
Right.
so you're building different equations and everything. So it's really, really kind of cool. Next game we have is Zingo 1, 2, 3, which is a game we have played, which is nothing more than number bingo.
Yeah, it's number bingo, but it's got like a cool little like slider.
Yeah, it's got the
thing.
slider. So basically there's these 2 columns that are giving you numbers,
Mm-hmm.
and you're sliding this, I don't know, contraption out. and
Yeah,
there's a
basically
stack.
they go onto the bottom of the stack and you slide it out to reveal
The new
2 of
numbers,
them.
Yeah. And then when you use them, you push them back in at the top. There's this little slit opening that you push them back in, and it resets the stack.
So you basically get 2 tiles out at a turn, and then the Zingo or bingo type cards that you have different sets of numbers, but it's just symbols. So you have to know like, oh, that's 6, and be on the lookout for that. So it's great for early number recognition and correlating between numbers and symbols of groups of the same number. So
yeah, we
really
played
fun.
this. We played this a number of times. Maybe we'll pull it out like every 2 or 3 weeks. We'll pull it out, and play it real quick.
Yeah, our daughter absolutely loves it. She could play Zingo all day long, and she and Grandma have played so many rounds because
right.
there's
We brought it
Zingo
with
1,
us,
2, 3.
yes.
There is also regular Zingo, which I guess we should link here too because it's fabulous as well. But it's also it's going to be a sight word recognition version, so it's just a little bit different.
So the next game we have is Clumsy Thief and Clumsy Thief Junior, and these are 2 variations, very similar probably in the nature to the Zeus on the Loose.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. So you're making Clumsy Thief Junior is adding up to 10, and Clumsy Thief is adding up to 100. So you're going to put down cards that you think are that add up to that. Whatever the top card on the table is, somebody's going to put down something from their hand that, when added to that, makes 100 or 10, depending on which game you're playing. So there's a lot of quick thinking and doing a lot of mental math to determine, okay, there's 20 on the table. Looking in my hand and knowing what cards I need to add to that to make 100, and so continuing to go in that vein. So really great game for quick mental math, and it's well loved in the game school community. So we wanted to highlight Clumsy Thief and Clumsy Thief Junior.
The next segment we're going to do is called STEM, and we're going to cover a couple items here. But the first one, which near and dear to our daughter's heart, is the National Geographic kits.
Right,
And they
so
have
many great kits.
So many kits. Like, I was actually texting with my friend who was, asking, what should I get for, your kiddo? And I'm like, oh, go take a look at these National Geographic kits. We just did the one with the fossils for
Right,
the
we got her the
archaeology.
fossil dig kit for her birthday.
But they got geodes, they got fossil dig, they got gemstones, they got volcanoes, my first rock kit, all this type of stuff.
So yeah, they have a really great set. So these National Geographic sets, they're really affordable, between $20 and $25.
Well, yeah, sometimes $10. I mean, they're even cheaper.
They're
than that.
great.
Yeah.
So they will include an information book that tells you about it. So we have the fossil dig kit, for example. It comes with a square of a ceramic, that they've hidden a bunch of real fossils, and there's like 15 real fossils.
It's like
in
a compressed, it's a compressed brick.
Yeah, a compressed brick. And they give you the little tools to scrape away the dirt and uncover the fossils, a little brush and a little scraper tool.
Our daughter lost her mind. I mean,
She loves it. We're actually not done with it yet. It's
Yeah.
taken us quite a while to dig through this on our own.
What's her favorite one?
Oh, she loves the dinosaur poop.
Yeah, we have dinosaur poop.
Right, that's the favorite one.
She
There's
pulls out
like
the
there's
she
a
pulls her
scientific name
Tupperware.
for it.
Yeah, I know. She pulls out the Tupperware and puts it down in front of you and says "Dino poop."
Yeah, she's super excited about it. So it's great. Whenever we find a new fossil, we clean it off from the dust of the dirt.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. I mean, you're holding things in your hand that are hundreds of millions of years old. It's
Yeah,
unbelievable.
I think it's so awesome that it's accessible into your house to, have something that's that old. It's really great.
Dinosaur
I can see it
tooth. We
kind
have
of
a
blow our
dinosaur
mind.
tooth, what Mosasaurus, I think it was.
Yeah, we have a mosasaur tooth, which was really cool. That was one of the fossils. So it's great. It's all contained, and then once we clean it off, we look at it in the book and we learn something about it. I saw her running up to her friend on the street the other day. She's kind of socially away, yelling across the street, "I found a mosasaur tooth in my house!" Right? So
The kid's looking at it, I don't know what you're talking about.
right, but she was so excited. So there's that. You can also do there's a gemstone dig kit if your kid's more into rocks and minerals. There's a geode kit where you actually get to break open
Yeah, I
these
think you get
beautiful
like 10 of
geodes.
them. They're all about the size of I would say like a large, like a little bit larger than a golf ball.
Right, really great. And you can break open these geodes, and of course they're beautiful inside. They have an earth sciences kit that Matt mentioned that has a volcano in it, has a bunch of other experiments. So
Really cool.
we're going to link some of the top ones there, but National Geographic kits you cannot go wrong with. They're super enjoyable. They're pretty good value.
Especially if you're trying to maybe if your kid isn't into those type of things, but it's a great gift for another kid. It's something to do. And that's something we've always talked about. Like you can get them a toy, you can get kids these things, but we've even talked about this with adults. I'd rather get something for somebody to go do because I think you can get a little bit more memories
This
that way.
is an experience, I think, right? These kits you're gonna use them once, but then you're gonna get to keep something from them.
Exactly.
And I love that science experiments sometimes it's just like gathering all this different equipment together. I love that this is all contained in the box. So gets a big 2 thumbs up from us.
So next two are Lego kits because we're getting into Legos and we all know Legos is really popular.
Right.
First one is the Lego Chain Reaction Science and Building Kit. And this is sort of like a Rube Goldberg kit. And the second one is the Lego Gadgets Science and Activity Kit.
So both of these are going to be a book that comes with a set of Lego parts. So the first one's going to come with the parts that you need to set up, I think, make 10 machines or something like that, 15 machines. So what this is meant to do is add on to, so you already have your Lego classic set. You got, miscellaneous Legos kicking around the house, and they're going to give you just the unique parts that you need to actually make the chain reactions work. And then the second one, which it actually makes things go, it actually makes little machines. Again, it's going to give you the few particular special Lego pieces that you need, and then rely on you to have kind of just your everyday
It just
bricks.
looks like, I think the classic set is all you probably need.
Right. There was nothing special required. So it's great. And the book shows you exactly how to make each of these machines. So if you've got a kid who loves Lego and you don't want to buy another Lego set in the house, these are super affordable. They come with a few special pieces, and they have the instructions to make these gadgets and chain reaction kits. So we thought that was a pretty unique way to use Lego. But not actually be another Lego kit.
Yeah, just like another like $150 Lego kit or something.
Right. We wanted to just recommend this book with some Lego pieces to do something special and really teach some great. As an engineer, I was really impressed to see just the engineering concepts that were being taught through this.
So next two are a little bit beyond Legos, marble activities. So Marble Run and then Gravitrax.
Yeah, so this is like a personal love of mine. A friend of mine had a marble run when I was a kid, and you've probably seen these. They're like kind of pipes that fit together in all kinds of configurations. You put marbles in the top, and they kind of roll through the pipes in all different ways. They're plastic. I always wanted one and didn't have one. So, everyone had that toy that their friend had that they coveted, and that was the one that I always really thought was so cool, and I really wanted as a kid. And I've had it on the list since my daughter was a baby of someday toys, and when she's old enough and stops putting stuff in her mouth, we're gonna get the marble run for her. So we can't get it yet because our little one's too little, but this is a great way to understand reactions and how the marble's going to move. Right, you're planning as you're putting these pieces together how the marble's going to move through. They're big, they're really interactive, so super great. And then for the slightly older child, Gravitrax. This is made by Ravensburger. A little bit more pricey, but they are excellent kits. They're kind of the same thing, except rather than just put the marble in the top and watch it go, you're actually building the different levels of the track. And then there's a bunch of different unique pieces like, oh, here's a little marble catapult that's going to catapult your marble to this other spot.
Yeah.
And here's loop-de-loops, and here's special swirls and different things. And we actually talked to a mom friend whose son has it. And I think he's 8 now. He's like, this is what he does all day. He just loves to do Gravitrax, and he's learning so much about different engineering concepts from it. And there's a bunch of expansions that you can buy for it too. So if you have an older learner who would like something like that, more in a STEM way, Gravitrax is incredible. I was like geeking out on it. Like, I would want to do this myself. It looks so fun. So
You're right. Next one is called Thinking Putty. And I know this is on a stocking stuffer for a 40-year-old man. So that's how cool this thing is.
Right. Yes. Our friends have this for their son. It's part of his Timberdoodle kit. And her husband also was quite interested in getting it. So it's a silly putty, but it's much higher quality and comes in different colors. And so there's the one that we've put here is a mixing lab. So you're learning a lot about colors and
blending of colors was the big thing.
Right. And how much different component, and okay, some of them has sparkle in it, and just really neat. If you want something that's hands-on and just a really cool and different experience, we think you should definitely consider Thinking Putty.
The next one for STEM, electricity is a big thing. Something that I spent a lot of my years and my professional years, doing electrical engineering and electronics work and stuff. The snap circuit, Snaptricity. I want to say that right. Snaptricity. Basically, this is if you could imagine doing electricity experiments with something that's sort of like Legos meets like the button on your pants. So they use the same button where you snap on your front of your pants. If you don't have like one of the feed through buttons, if you actually have a snap button, they use the
coat.
snap. They use the snap button technology on these little plastic electrical parts. They snap together, and you can build these great erector seti type of designs and whatnot. And they have, I think in the book, had 150 different electronic designs. They've got noise makers and buzzers. They have a motor. They have LEDs. They have switches. They have a little helicopter spinny thing that goes up in the air. Amazing. And our 4 or 5-year-old is able to build these things just by following the instructions. I think it uses 2 AA batteries to power everything.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really cool.
Everything is self-contained, so it's pretty safe. There's not anything exposed as far as
this is not high voltage.
stuff.
Like, nobody's getting electrocuted.
No,
This is very low voltage stuff. So it's very, very easy to put together. Very easy to follow the instructions. Some of the variations on the various electronics things are like, okay, that's sort of like that one, but just a little bit different. But what is cool is you can visually see how the circuit is moving. You can talk about electricity going from here to here and how it's powering. And there's some, you put the LED backwards, it doesn't work, right? Or if you have the switch in the wrong direction, it's not working the right way you want it, right? That type of thing. You have to exactly have it connected, or the speaker has to be oriented in a certain way for it to actually work, because that lead is not this lead, and that type of thing. Great introduction to electronics. And I think
without really a lot of knowledge needed, everything's very well contained, and they have extra sets too. You could like combine multiple sets and make something bigger and more complex, make your own different projects.
If you have that kid who really likes, if you think they're going to be kind of into electronics and stuff, before you get into like an actual breadboard kit with like an Arduino kit, which is probably something I wouldn't introduce anybody until maybe they're like 2nd or 3rd grade, if that's something they're really into.
That feels early to me.
But no, it's designed to be early for the Arduino stuff. You can do it early. But if you really want to get your kid into just playing with electricity, just being able to turn little lights on and build stuff. And our daughter loves doing the one where that has the little helicopter flies up in the air. So it has a little motor. When you hit the button, the motor turns on, spins this helicopter thing, and it flies off. and she does it like a million different times. You know, she'll do it a million times.
You know what I love about this? It's like the game Mousetrap, where
Yeah.
you know you spend 20 minutes setting it up, and all they want to do is just continue triggering the trap, and they don't want to actually play. This is great because all of it is just triggering the trap, right?
Triggering the trap. Yep.
Every project that they do, it's easy to put together, and they get this feedback of, oh, they get the buzzer or the light or the helicopter, right? So it all gives them that the thing that they want to do, which is triggering the machine to work.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's the whole point of this, which I appreciate.
Yeah, it's a great first electronics kit, and they come in differing sizes. You can get a really simple one, you get a more advanced one. I think we have kind of the middle grade one.
Right. There's a bunch of different kits. We've linked one that we thought was a good starter one, but there are others.
So the next thing is the next segment is about the world around you, geography. So the first thing is geo puzzles.
Yeah, geo puzzles. This is totally, I don't know when they're coming to our house, but it's not long we're getting ready to start our around the world journey with our daughter, her around the world learning journey. I wish it was a real journey, but it's not. But these are terrific puzzles. They've got the world, North America, South America, Europe, Asia, Africa.
And they're oriented by country.
And
So
the
puzzle
pieces are in the shape of the countries. So I'm just super excited to get this because it's going to be just great for her, to put together Europe and for
and our
all the
daughter-
pieces to
yeah.
be the actual shape of the different
And
countries.
she loves puzzles. And that's, it's
Right.
been something, I know it's really weird. It's been something she's been doing, I think, since she's been 2.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
been
she's
kind
been
of
in
playing with puzzles,
forever.
and she's really good at puzzles. 100-piece puzzles, not a big deal for her anymore. And so being able to do the puzzles is a great way for her to learn. She gets a lot of FaceTime on what she's looking. It's understanding the picture that she's putting together. So for her, this is going to be a great way for her to learn all the countries where they are, as opposed to just staring at a map. This is going to be something that she's going to really
Right. This is a great tactile way. I mean, we have a couple of world puzzles and stuff, but the pieces are just normal puzzle pieces. For these pieces to actually be in the shape of all of the countries is really cool. So I'm looking forward to that. You can buy each of them, or you can buy the set of all 6, and they all come together.
The next one is Geo Bingo. Bingo is always a really cool way to learn anything, whether it's numbers or words. And here it's used to learn your various countries or the various states.
Right. They have 2. So there's Geo Bingo of the United States, and then they have the world. And so, yeah, just a great way to connect country shapes with names and some other data on that. So really just another fun way, right? Learning the countries, like you said, using a map or even a globe, while those are great. These are just more tactile ways to get that information.
Especially for younger learners. I mean, I know today I would just sit there and stare at a globe all day long and just let it spin and look at all the various places.
We're fascinated by it. But for her, you can
Yeah.
see her eyes glaze over when she actually works with something tactile. We have a game called 10 Days in Asia, which
Yes.
unfortunately they don't print anymore. Otherwise, it would be on this list because it's really great. But it has different country cards printed, and you're kind of creating a trip through Asia. She loves to look at that because it's tactile with the cards and the map on the board and how you put all the things together. And so this is GeoBingo is just another way where you can be tactile and teach the concept. So really fun. I know our daughter would be super excited if any of these things were under the tree for geography.
The next one is by Game Right, is the Scrambled States of America game.
Yeah, and there's a book actually.
There's a book. There's like
there's the book and the
ton of
game
stuff,
come
yeah.
together in this one. It's really great. And the states all decide in the book. The states all decide to like take a holiday for being
they're
where
kind
they
of
are.
bored where they are. And
Right, so
wanna-
they start moving around the country into different locations, and you got to put them back where
The
they
book
are.
is really cute. If you haven't had a chance, definitely.
Yeah,
read
it's
the
super
book.
cute, and the book comes with the game here, a smaller reprint of the book, and so it's a great way to teach United States geography and trying to, which state is next to this state. So they're all mixed up, and you're trying to get them back in the right spots. So really fun and intuitive, great, super highly reviewed, terrific geography game.
So moving on from geography, we're on to art. Art is obviously a big thing that we like to push in our house. Not that I'm Da Vinci or anything like that, but I do
You're
enjoy
a pretty
it.
good artist, though.
I'm decent. Getting better. So the first one is, I want to say it right, Aquarellum Kit.
Yeah, aquarellum, I think is what
Aquarellum?
it is. Okay.
We need to talk to the marketing department. They need to rename this thing.
It's a little hard, but what's really interesting about it is this is a watercolor kit for kids, and the sheets, I think they're actually boards, but the boards are have a waxy coating everywhere where you're not supposed to paint. So let's say that it's a picture of a fish, and all the different scales are drawn in, and the outline of the fish and all of that. when your kid slaps watercolor paint, no matter how messy they are, if they don't color in the lines very well, the watercolor is not actually going to stick to any of the outline pieces. So it makes beautiful artwork where they can blend colors and make neat things, and it doesn't go everywhere. So even if your child doesn't stay in the lines or has a harder time with that, this is an art kit where they can make something that looks just gorgeous when it's finished and have a great time doing art, and especially working on the blending of colors.
Next one is the Paint Pour Studio. Now, this is something we've been actually playing with for the last few weeks with our little one. Actually, I don't know if anybody's been on YouTube, but there's a lot of these great art videos. One of the popular things is doing abstract art via acrylic paint pours, where they pour paint onto a canvas. They kind of move the canvas around and it kind of oozes and stretches and kind of blends the colors.
All the different colors.
And then they'll do different things, like maybe take a hair dryer and blow the paint and kind of creates these really cool effects. Or sometimes they put things into the paint like silicone or alcohol, and it creates different bubbling effects and can be a really beautiful thing to look at. This is obviously for kids, so this is kind of your first paint pour studio. And we've been doing it. It's been really, really cool. We created some really cool art with it.
Yeah, it wasn't as messy as we thought. I was kind of like, but these are small. They come with little canvases, and it comes with the box and the whole setup.
And what's important is the pouring paint, the acrylic pouring paint is not something that you just buy from the store. The pour paint you actually have to make, and a lot of people online, when they're making their acrylic pour paint, they're actually having to build this base that's I think it's 1 part water, 1 part Elmer's glue, and then they put the acrylic paint into it and they mix it together, and then that's what they pour onto their canvas. And obviously in this kit it comes with these kind of really thick cardboard things. We notice it kind of bends a little if you don't have the corners supported, and so that's a little thing to realize. But we've been picking up these cheap canvas boards from Walmart, actually.
Yes, you can get like 5x7 boards for $3 for $2, and then like 8x10s. I think they were like $3 for $3. I mean,
so if you actually want to put it
really
on
simple,
on a canvas, it's actually pretty affordable.
Yeah, this was a great way to get the pour paint, and it came with a little pipette, and it came with the straws and the cups and all the things that you needed, and a place to actually do the pouring. So it came with an apron and gloves and things, and then we just went and bought some more canvases so we could use the rest of the paint, because it only comes with a few little canvases. So we'd recommend it, though. Our daughter has had a blast with this.
Yeah, absolutely fun. And I'm not going to lie, it's something I've wanted to do for a little while, so it's really fun to actually do it with her. Next one is the Lego Make Your Own Movie Activity Kit. Now, I want to tell you, this is super cool. I have always wanted to do stop motion animation. I'm a big animation guy. I love movie making, dabbled a little bit in it a couple years ago. It's a great thing, but watching a kid take Legos and turn it into a movie, so they're actually able to take what's in their head, what they're actually doing, and put it into something that they can show somebody, an actual animated movie, is, I think, just awesome. I remember one of my cousins did this 10 years ago. He was taking a little iPhone Touch and he was taking pictures and he was building his own animation. But they have these really cool tools now that you can do it. I think there's an app that takes all your images, does the stitching together, and then actually, full on, builds a movie out of it.
Yeah. This is a book that you get that also has Lego pieces. So it's got a bunch of different pieces of minifigs. It's actually not a bad price for minifigs.
Yeah, if there are Lego people out there and they know how much minifigs are costing, this actually get a lot of minifigs for a pretty good price.
Right. I mean, you have a variety. I think it's like 8 torsos and only 3 legs, but 6 heads. But there's a bunch of extra hair and different pieces. Anyways. There's a bunch of stuff. So anyway, really cool. It's got a bunch of minifig pieces of the little figurines, and then it has some other props and things, and it walks you through how to make movies. It comes with some backdrops for you to use in your movie making, and some plans to design a little phone holder for your phone out of Legos, so that you can make sure that you're not holding it so that you'd be off, right? You want to keep that phone steady. So it has a little plans to make that so that you can take these pictures and move your Lego guys around. And then it has an app that you use that makes the movies for you. So for a creative thing, for a really low cost, I think it's maybe $15, is like a great deal. And I think kids will have a lot of fun with this one.
We want to move from art into more practical skills, and this is going to be 2 books, and this is specifically cookbooks that we like. We have always been big fans of America's Test Kitchen. We love their cookbooks. We love their show. I think, isn't Cooks Illustrated part of it
Yeah,
as well?
Cooks Illustrated,
Yeah.
America's Test Kitchen. I think the big thing about it is when you're first learning to cook, and this is true for kids as well. When you first learn to cook and something doesn't turn out well, you don't know, is it me or is it the recipe? And guess what, it's like 50-50. It's the recipe. There's a lot of bad recipes out there. We have a Disney princess cookbook for our daughter. She absolutely loves this cookbook. She thinks it's great. The only problem is the recipes are pretty poor in it. We've made a couple recipes. They do some classic things, which is like there's no salt in this recipe. They've done some they made hummus without tahini. I mean, I don't know, these are crazy people. So we've made some recipes, and I'm a pretty good cook and a good baker, and they've just not turned out very well. And so it's been a little disappointing. So I've had to modify them, and that's too much. So
this is America's Test Kitchen for the cooking, and then also for baking. So if you have a kid that you like to watch some cooking shows with, I know you like to do that with our daughter.
Yeah, if anyone watches Great British Bake Off.
Great British Bake Off. If they're into baking and they want to bake some cakes and cupcakes, you can choose one of these options. It's a great opportunity to get some good recipes, because we know America's Test Kitchen does not mess around.
Mm-hmm.
These guys are the real deal. They only give you good recipes. We have their,
we have a bunch of their product. They're only good. So it's a cookbook for young chefs and a cookbook for young bakers. So there's 2 different versions of it. They are jam packed with great recipes. They really walk your kids through. We have the baking one, and it's awesome. And they kind of walk your kids through the basic steps, food safety. So this would be a terrific books to get if you're looking to do more cooking with your children, but you're not sure exactly where to start. I mean, we can Pinterest recipes all day long. I love having something in a book, and especially when we can work up through the difficulty level. So highly recommend these 2 books.
We're going to go from practical skills to just general games, just fun things. First one is Cat Crimes, which is really cool because it's an independent play game. It's a 1-player game.
Right. Yeah. I really enjoy these games because they give your kids something to do just by themselves. We have one for our daughter where it's a tangigrams, and she has to place those, and she really loves it. Cat Crimes is a super popular single player that is all about deducing which of the cats committed the crime. And so there's a bunch of different crimes that your child would solve.
Spoiler, it's all the cats, because cats are evil. I'll take all of your comments on the Homeschool Together Facebook group.
Saith the man who's super allergic to cats, by the way. So you're biased. My love, you're biased. So this is a great one. I think this is terrific because it's logic and deduction. It's solo, so when you need to work with another child, you can give this to another kid, to one of your children to do, and they're going to have fun with it, but it's by themselves. So bonus points for it being a solo game. Cat Crimes.
Next one is Rhino Hero.
Yeah, Rhino Hero is another dexterity game where you're actually there's bent cards, and you're making a tower and moving up the tower and trying to figure
Jenga
out
meets House of Cards type of
how to
not the
place
show,
them.
but cards, stacking cards.
Dexterity games are great because they're exercising the logic of and trial and error. Where do I put this? And okay, if I put this here, then that means that the next level is going to be this way. And so you're really trying to figure out when you're putting each level the balance of the weight. So this is a super highly recommended game, and we thought we'd let everybody know it's by Haba, and they always have terrific games and great quality. We have a number of Haba games, and they're top notch.
So moving from games, we'll do 2 little quick stocking stuffers. First one is the Microbright Pocket Microscope, which I think is the coolest friggin' thing on the planet.
We've shown this to everyone. Well, we haven't seen very many people, but
every person we have shown it to
thought this was amazing.
So basically, it's a small little pocket microscope that has a flat bottom to it, which is exposed, but it's been wrapped in plastic, kind of a plastic shell that you can put flush against any type of surface or any type of material.
Looks like a single hand binocular, if you can think of that. It would fit in the palm of one hand. It's real small.
And then you can look through it, and there's an LED that can shine onto the bottom, so it gives plenty of light. You can change the focus and the magnification. I was blown away. We were just...
It's super great, y'all.
We were 2 nerds, 37-year-old, 38-year-old nerds staring at our skin under a
Oh
microscope.
my gosh, it
and
was the
dog-
greatest thing. We
I
looked at.
remember, I remember I took he goes, what does a dog hair look like? And I
Oh
went
my
and
gosh.
I took the dog and I pulled some hair off and I put it down on top and I looked at it. I was like, wow, this is wild.
Oh my gosh, we were looking at the grains in the table. We were looking at paper. We looked at our phones to be able to see the
Yeah.
pixels.
Oh my God. Yeah. So we took on I turned on my Kindle reader, which is, I do black background, white writing. And so I was able to zoom in. I could see the pixels, and not just the pixel. I could see the RGB in the pixel, the red,
Right,
green,
yeah,
blue.
with the Kindle app on your phone.
On the just by looking right down on my phone. Honest to God, if you don't get anything on any of our list, you absolutely what is it? We're 40 minutes into a podcast right now. You absolutely must buy this, and I don't even care if it's not for your kid, if it's just for you. You must buy this
For all those Blossom and Root families.
And what is it? It's
this
like
is
$15.
yeah, something like that. This is for all the Blossom and Root families and nature
It's
schooling
criminal
families.
not to have this.
This
in your
is the
homeschool.
greatest addition to our nature walks we've ever experienced.
none.
You know, the thing about getting a microscope, and I, as a STEM kid, I wanted a microscope when I was a
But you
kid.
gotta make the silly little
Right, my parents got it
trays
for
and put
me.
the thing on the liquid, and it's like, oh God, it's so annoying.
Well-
This is so not that. This
Right,
is
that's what's
amazing.
so great about this,
Yes.
right? You know, I wanted this microscope. My parents gave me a microscope for Christmas. I was so excited about it, and it came with like 3 ready-made slides and then a couple of other blanks to make new slides. And I literally never made any slides with it because the barrier to entry was so, for me anyway, for a kid, was so much that I just didn't get to it. That's what's great about this. There's no setup needed. You can take this; it will fit right in your pocket. You can look at leaves as you're walking.
Oh, it's amazing.
You can
Look at the rocks,
inspect
look at
rocks and
dirt.
dirt. I mean, it's absolutely has blown us away with the amount that you can see. Now, it's not a high-powered microscope. If you've got a junior high kid or something that really needs, get a
If they need to
microscope.
look at cells and bacteria, fine. But
Right.
this is just being able to look at the surface in greater detail than you can see with the naked eye of any surface.
I'm amazed at the level of detail. Honestly,
It was
I
amazing.
really thought this was going to be kind of, when I bought it, people on one of the forums, maybe Blossom and Root, were talking about how great it was. And I was like, all right, this looks fun. So I picked it up. I thought it would help enhance our nature walks, which it has, of course. But I really thought it was going to be like a better magnifying glass.
Yeah.
Not quite. I thought like maybe like one step up from magnifying glass.
No,
It is not.
It
It
is like-
blew me away.
blew me away. Absolutely must put this in your stocking
And it's a
stuffer.
perfect stocking stuffer. I mean, it's just tiny. It
Oh,
would be
super
perfect
tiny.
for a stocking.
So the next one is, as we get down off the pinnacle, is the Math Dice Junior.
Yeah, math dice. Pretty darn cool. This is one that's going in our daughter's stocking, I think.
This is a game that I have played. I'm super nerd here. I've always taken numbers that I see on like a sign or like on a billboard, and I just start adding them together, and I figure out how I can get to that one from this one.
This is why I'm not going to play Moby with him, y'all.
yeah.
This is the reason.
But this is something I've been doing for the last 3 decades. Just looking at numbers, while I'm sitting somewhere, not waiting to like looking at like you're at McDonald's and you look at the the cost of the burger, and you're like, oh, that 2, if I add 5 divided by 1 and I add the next 3, I can get that number. And
I'm never playing this with him, y'all. Never.
But basically that is this game. So you're rolling dice and you're trying to go from one point to the other by doing addition, subtraction, and just trying to move your way through.
Right. I think regular math dice you could do more with it if you wanted
Yeah.
to. But yeah,
Junior is
so
a
you
little
have
bit
you
easier.
have one die that you roll that's a goal die, and it's, I don't know, maybe a 20 side, and you roll it, and whatever number you get, and then you roll all of the regular just 1 through 6, regular 6-sided dice, and you try to use as many dice as you can to get to the goal number.
Mm-hmm.
So if the goal number is 10, you could use 5 plus 5, or you could do 5 minus 1 plus 3 plus 3 and get there, right? And use more dice.
Just note that Ariel blew over 10 and she lost.
No, 5 minus 1 is 4, plus 3 is 7, plus 3 is 10.
And I was just checking your math.
You're... Which one of us has the engineering degree? Anyways,
You're the engineer.
point is...
I'm the homeschool dad.
Point is, it's a really fun game. So you're trying to maximize the number of dice that you use. It's super small, and I know that it would be just a great stocking stuffer. So really fun math dice.
So that's basically the gist of, the first annual Homeschool Together annual gift.
Yeah,
guide.
we hope we get to keep doing this. And so when you go on to our into our show notes, you click through to our website. So you see all of these with pictures and links to Amazon. So just know that those links are affiliate links with Amazon. We're on with the affiliate program. It doesn't cost you anything extra. It's exactly the same as you would pay for the item if you went to Amazon yourself and ordered it, but we get a few cents, and it does help support the show. So we just want to put the plug out there that if any of these sound appealing, please click through our links. Likewise, if you're doing your other holiday shopping, if you spare a moment to think of us and you're going to go to Amazon anyway, if you can click through one of our links, any of our links in our show notes or on the website, it doesn't matter what you buy, we'll still get a few cents, and it does help offset our show costs. So we really appreciate it, and we just wanted to be upfront with everybody about that.
Mm-hmm.
And we would love to know, what is your top recommendation?
Yeah, I think Ariel will make a post in the
Yeah,
Facebook
I'll make
group.
a post in the Facebook group, but I want to know if you could recommend like one or two things for other listeners. What things would you recommend? And I'm really curious to see what kind of response we get.
So let's end the show like we always do. And what are we into this week? Emily's Wonder Lab. Stay curious and keep exploring.
Matt has watched many episodes of Emily's Wonderland.
I have watched many episodes of a very made up pregnant woman doing science experiments on Netflix. And so this is a really cool show. I think each episode is about 10 minutes long, maybe.
Yeah, they're very short.
They're very short. And there's about 8 or 9 episodes, and is run by this woman, Emily. And she has these kids, maybe, I think every episode's about 5 kids. But it does look like she has a rolling pool of 10 kids that keep coming in and out. And what they do is they always have a theme for the show. And I thought it was going to be kind of like a Bill Nye Science Guy and kind of be like really silly, kind of over the top and kind of meander. But they don't. Every episode really just focuses on that one thing. Like if it's slime, if it's like she was doing kind of an airwave knockdown cups type of thing. Whatever the topic is, they really lock in on that and they focus it. And what we've been doing is we've been watching it, and actually the little one is actually interested in it too, because there's a lot of color and excitement.
It's really dynamic.
Some of the cutscenes with the kids where they're like adding a little bit of commentary is a little kind of cheesy, but if you can stomach that, the show's actually really good. And then at the end of the show, she does a little science experiment that's kind of like an addition to what they had done for the whole show.
Well, right. The whole show is something that's bigger that you probably couldn't do at home, whereas at the end is
the
something
giant pool
for you to take home.
Yeah, the giant pool of slime is right out. I can tell you that. But she did have, like, you could do something at home. Like they did the one with the making a tornado. They were talking about tornadoes. And she had this thing where you put the 2 soda bottles together and you tape it up, and then you could put water in one and you flip it over and you swirl it. You can create a tornado in the thing. And we were able to do that. And it was really cheap, fun little activity. And at the end of every show, she gives you one of these activities that you can probably conceivably do in your house based on what the materials that she's been using and what people typically have in their household products. She's very engaging, and it's been very fun. I'll pause it and I'll ask my oldest, what do you think is going to happen? Like they had this one, it was a challenge. They were talking about eggs and how the structure of an egg helps support, that the arch helps support the weight. And these kids, they had 2,000 eggs, and these kids had to walk across the eggs, and they had to choose which way would be most effective. And they're counting up how many eggs they broke along the way, and which girl chose. I think the one girl, spoilers, she did a bear crawl over them, and because she distributed her weight, the eggs were holding less weight, and she only broke 2 along the way. And so it was really, really cool to be able to pause it and ask my oldest, what would you do? What do you think would happen? Being able to pause it, ask the question, and then play it again has been a really nice experience with my oldest. And she's starting to get into the science and STEM stuff, which you and I are very happy about.
We're pretty excited about.
We're very happy about, because we are STEM nerds. It's been a great show. I've really enjoyed it. And this woman's 8 months pregnant doing this show.
Yeah, personally, as a woman in science, as a woman in engineering, I really love that it's a show built around a female lead who's not just a girl, but an impending mother, right?
Yeah,
so
right.
I mean, what a great thing for our girls to see that, you can be in this position, and you can be a scientist, and you can be a mom, and all of that together. I don't know. Well, it gave me all the feels, as well as being a good science show. I got all the feels from it.
She's also it's very a put together show. You could tell it's very scripted in some places, but there are moments, what happens when you're, working with kids is that she breaks character where she's like, "Oh God, don't do that," and they don't cut it out, and you as a parent can see her go from being this, I'm a very fancy Netflix TV show host and I'm being the next Bill Nye Science Guy, to go, "Oh no, don't do that." There was one, I think this one girl was putting soap in, they were doing this chemical reaction that was going to make a bunch of foam, and you had to put in some soap, and this girl put in some soap, and Emily had to catch her and goes, "Oh, that's going to be a lot of foam." It was very funny because the kids, even though the kids are all kind of doing their this is my stepping stone to being an actor type of thing, you could definitely tell there's a little bit of that. I'm sure there's some parents in the background going, "Jimmy, do a better job." But it is funny to see Emily kind of break character when something really goes wrong. So it is very funny. It's just a very enjoyable show. They're only 10 minutes long. It's a really fun thing to sit down and do it as a treat. Maybe you did your science work for the day or you did some math work for the day. Just toss it on as kind of a fun little thing. And if you're feeling bold, there are little science experiments at the end that you can do. Obviously, pick and choose which ones you want to do. I think there was a slime one. That is right out. Oobleck, I think, is what they were making, which is, I think, is cornstarch and water and something else. So don't do it. If you value a clean house like I do. But anyway, Emily's Wonder Lab. Enjoy.
On Netflix.
Emily's Wonder Lab. Stay curious and keep exploring. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do.
Thanks so much for joining us today and making us a part of your homeschool journey. Please engage with us on social media. Join our Homeschool Together podcast group on Facebook and find us at Homeschool Together Podcast on Instagram. We'd love to hear your feedback, questions, and recommendations. Until next time.
Happy homeschooling!